I just got fired the same night I got the job. I never thought I would experience this in my lifetime. I'm a hard worker, extremely dependable, and respectful. Not sure how I could lose a job like this. Especially when I only just got it. So I work late and just about every night for the last few weeks at least. I stop by Walmart to get something for dinner. I usually get off around midnight and stop by on my way home. Every time I'm at Walmart, barely anyone is there except for the night crew. Stocking up the store and doing their own thing. Now from what I have noticed, they don't have much of a uniform. Many of them are in hoodies or jackets of different colors. Just to add some context. I showed up last night and I'm wearing a hoodie. I begin to walk up and down the aisles trying to figure out what I want for dinner. I'm thinking pasta and walk past a few guys who are loading the shelves. All of a sudden, I start hearing this guy yelling. This voice gets louder. Hey! Hey! Are you listening? I turn to look to see what is going on and this guy approaches me. You're late again. Don't think I haven't noticed you walking in the door after 12. I begin to laugh, thinking this guy is joking around. Before I can even say anything he jumps on me. You think this is funny? Your job must not be important to you. I want you to follow me to the office. Now I'm completely confused and start looking around like I'm on some hidden camera show. He starts to walk off and I turn around and go back to shopping. He comes back a minute later and starts to yell. You want to be fired? Because if you don't come with me now, I will fire you. I start to laugh even harder, then ask him, what's my name? He gives me this puzzled look, so I asked him again, what's my name? Do you even know who I am? He looks at the other guys in the aisle, who have stopped stocking the shelves at this point to watch this event unfold. He then looks back at me, trying to figure out what exactly to say back to me before his head explodes. Good luck filing the paperwork to fire me, when you don't even know my name. I continue to laugh at this whole stupid charade. I pick up some ingredients for spaghetti, trying to give this guy a clue. He storms off and I look at the other guys in the aisle. I'm sure he will figure out eventually, I don't work here. They start laughing and I go on. Can't believe I lost the job I just found out I had in the same night.
A guest got mistaken as an employee. I work in a hotel that has a split lobby, so when you walk in you are in an area with a table, chairs, vending machines, ice machines etc. There is a door that leads into the area where the front desk is to check in. The door is glass and there's a wall-sized window next to the door. You can see the desk from the main door clearly. I had a guest who was already here for their second night. They are in the lobby getting something out of the vending machine, puts something in the microwave and sits down to wait at the table. This guest was wearing pajama pants, a tank top and no shoes, just socks. Also to add, it was like 6 a.m., this man clearly just woke up. As this guest is sitting at the table on his phone, a man and woman walk into the main door. I look up through the glass door, it was open. I said my greeting, hello, welcome to ______, how can I help you? The couple look at me, look at the man sitting at the table, walk up to him and say, we just need a room for one night. Guest sitting at the table looks up confused and tells them he doesn't work here, they have to talk to me. The couple apologized but looked annoyed and then walked into the other side of the lobby to talk to me. I was wearing my uniform shirt, my name tag, and I was standing at the desk in front of the computer, behind the desk that says, check in, on a big sign. I am also female with a very soft voice, so I don't think they thought it was him who said hello. Shockingly, this is the third time this has happened on my shift. My high school had red uniforms and lanyards, because of a recent mass shooting, and I like to clip my keys to my lanyard, so I never took it off. Well, guess who else had red polos, khaki pants, and black shoes? Target employees. So after school I'm browsing Target when an elderly woman comes to me and says, hey, can you help me find this? I notice her service dog, her thick glasses, and realized she's legally blind. I assume she can at best see my blurry form, and just by the colors she must think I work here. Oh no. I was too embarrassed to say no, so I looked at the item and made a mental list of where I might find it. Home. Kitchen. No, this was specifically an office item. I gave her my best customer service voice and said, of course, I'll help you. And so I did. I even called an employee to explain she might need assistance upon checkout. The lady then said she'd like to speak to a manager. Oh. Did I do something wrong? The employee was equally dumbfounded. The service dog, a beautiful chocolate lab aptly named Brownie, did not help outside of a big yawn. I am the assistant manager, is there anything you'd like for me to know? She then heaped on the praise for me, saying how kind I was and how great the manager is to hire me and whatnot. I accepted the praise, a little embarrassed. Ma'am, I actually don't work here. I'm a high schooler. I don't know who was more embarrassed, but it was a good time overall. I helped someone in need, pet a dog, and had a nice story to tell. The store manager thanked me with gift card. About 12 years ago, when I was in high school, I had the day off, so my dad invited me to go out to lunch with him the next day. Mom wouldn't be able to get off, so it was just going to be a daddy-daughter lunch date. The day of, just when I was going to get into the shower and get ready for the day, my dad calls and says something big has come up at work and we're going to have to postpone our lunch. But because this was a surprise event for him, he didn't bring anything to eat, so he asked me to stop by a Subway and grab him a sandwich and some chips and bring it to him at work. I was bummed, but said okay. Instead of the nice sweater/skirt combo I had planned on wearing, I put on a pair of old, ripped jeans and a black t-shirt with a giant Nike logo across the front, as well as putting my hair into a messy ponytail under a black and red baseball cap. I picked up his food and drove off to his work. He owned a hardware store. I got there, went to his office, and saw him behind the glass on the phone, with lots of papers around him, and he looked frantic on his call and shuffling through the papers. I knocked on the glass, held up the bag with his food, and when he saw me, he gave me a thumbs up and then jerked his thumb over his shoulder towards the employee break room, so I went there to put his food in the fridge. When I got there were 2 warehouse employees there, I'll call them Tom and Dan, and they told me that their biggest supplier had suddenly and unexpectedly gone out of business that day, and Dad was trying to see if he could snag any leftover inventory they might still have, as well as looking for a new supplier. We also made some idle chit-chat before I put Dad's lunch in the fridge and walked out the door. This is when the main villain of the story stepped in. I'll call her Karen. I got maybe 2 steps out the door, when she grabbed my attention and asked where the doohickey was. At the time, I had no idea what a doohickey was, so I politely said, "I'm sorry, I don't work here, I'm just delivering food." She practically screamed, "Why won't you help me?" Then noticed the sign over the door that said, "Employees Only," and said, "What were you doing in there if you don't work here?" thinking she caught me or something. I said, "This is where I was told to bring the food, but I really don't work here, and I don't even know what a doohickey is." She then started berating me for not knowing what a doohickey was, when I thought of Tom and Dan behind the door, and surely one of them would know what a doohickey was and where to find it. But when I turned to go in and get one of them, she loudly shrieked, "Why won't you help me? Don't bother your coworkers when you're right here." I don't know if it was because he was done on the phone, or just was alerted by Karen's loud shrieking. But my dad came out of his office and asked what was going on. Karen quickly spoke up and said, "I'm trying to find a doohickey and she won't help me." Dad looked at her and said, "I'm sorry, but she's just delivering lunch, she probably doesn't even know what a doohickey is." I then told my dad that I tried to get Tom or Dan to come out and help her, as I had no idea what a doohickey was. Karen's response was to tell Dad, "You should train the workers better." Dad's response was to say, again, "She doesn't work here and she claimed she tried to get you help, did she or did she not?" Karen then said, "Why is everyone trying to cover for her? As far as I know, she had only talked to me and Dad, so I don't know who everyone was." Dad then told her, "Doohickeys are on aisle 3, or you can maybe find one at Home Depot." He later told me that's the first time he ever suggested to a customer that they can go elsewhere even if he had the item in stock or could get it there in a reasonable amount of time. He then told me what a doohickey was. Karen then stormed off to aisle 3, and later that evening, Dad told me she had bought a doohickey. Years later, when I was married and my husband and I got a house, Dad gave us a doohickey as a housewarming gift. I started laughing hysterically when I unwrapped it and saw what it was. My husband thought there was something wrong with me because I was laughing like crazy and could barely get out. "Did you find it on aisle 3 or did you have to go to Home Depot?" So, Dad is officially retired now, my older brother is taking over, and I know where to get a doohickey should I ever need one.